Hello children. Before we move on to the question answer section of this chapter on electricity, we will quickly revise all the important concepts that we have studied in this chapter. Okay, so starting with the first point, positive and negative charges. The charges that are acquired by a glass rod when it is rubbed with the silk is called the positive charge, and the charge acquired by an ebonite rod when it is rubbed with the wool is called the negative charge. Second point, that what is the SI unit for the charge? SI unit for charge is coulombs. Okay, it is SI unit and it is defined as that amount of charge which is repelling an equal and similar charge with the force of 9 into 10 power 9 newtons when it is placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter from it. And charge on an electron is minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Okay. Now the next point, static and current electricities. Static electricity will deal with the electrical charges at rest, while the current electricity will deal with the electric charges which are in motion. Next point is on conductor. Fine. So what are conductors? A substance that will allow the passage of electric charges through it easily. They are called conductors. A conductor offer very low resistance. Okay, conductors will give very low resistance, whereas insulator will give high resistance, right? So conductor, because they have to allow the charges to flow through them, okay, so they will give very low resistance to the flow of current. For example, the copper, silver, aluminium, these all are examples of conductors. Next one, insulator, a substance that has infinitely high resistance and does not allow the electric current to flow through it. They are called insulator. Examples are rubber, glass, plastic, okay, ebonite. They all are the examples for insulator. Okay, now electric current. Fine. So what is electric current? Electric current means the flow of electric charges, right? What is electric current? The flow of charges across a cross section of a conductor constitutes the electric current. So whenever there is a flow of charges across a cross section, okay, or through a particular area, is called electric current. It is defined as rate of flow of electric charge through any section of a conductor. How we measure? Electric current can be measured as electric charge or flow of charges per unit time. Okay, charge is represented by Q and T is for time. What type of quantity it is? It is a scalar quantity. Means no direction is not involved. It has only magnitude. Next one is the ampere. What is ampere? Ampere is the unit in which we measure the electric current. Fine. So ampere is SI unit for current. If 1 coulomb, how we will measure ampere, or what is 1 ampere? Okay. So just a second, I'll tell you what is 1 ampere. This type of question is also asked usually. Or how will you define ampere, or what is 1 ampere? So what you will say, it is a 1 coulomb of charge. Actually this formula which you see here, this has to be put in form of statement. Okay, and your definition for ampere is done. So look here, that if 1 coulomb of charge, 1 coulomb is charge is measured in coulombs, right? So if 1 coulomb of charge flows through any section of a conductor in 1 second of time, okay, then the current through it is said to be 1 ampere. Means what? This is what electric current we denoted by symbol I, which is equal to the amount of charge that has flown through a cross section per second. Okay, so if I, we know current, that is I, is measured in ampere. So for this to be 1, Q also need to be 1, right? Q has to be 1, and also our time also has to be 1. So this formula, if you remember, okay, that what is electric current, then you can define for ampere also, what is 1 ampere and all, okay. Now 1 ampere is 1 coulomb per second, okay, that is 1 coulomb of charge in time interval of 1 second. Okay, now in 1 milliampere will be how much? Milli is for 10 power minus 3. So 1 milliampere is 10 power minus 3 ampere, and micro is for 10 power minus 6. So it will be 10 power minus 6 ampere. Okay, now coming to electric circuit. Now what is this electric circuit? It is a closed path through which the electric current will flow, and we call it as electric circuit. Next thing we studied is about conventional current. Now what is this conventional current? Okay, so conventional current, it is the direction of motion of positive charges. Okay, so direction of motion of, mind this word, positive charge. Okay, it is always taken as the direction of current. Okay, so though the flow of charges, and these are the electrons, right, knocked out electrons from the outermost shell. Okay, so when these electrons are flowing in one particular direction, means there is a positive charge developed behind them. Okay, so we say it is actually the direction of the motion of the positive charges, okay, in the direction opposite to the flow of electrons. That is taken conventionally it is considered as the direction of flow of current. Fine. So the direction of conventional current is opposite to that of the negatively charged electrons. Fine. So this thing you should know. Next is about electric field. Electric field is the region around a charged body within which it is within which its influence can be experienced. It means that what is electric field? It is the field of electricity. Okay, to whatever region the effect of the electric current can be felt, or it can be it can be felt, or its influence can be experienced, we call that is the electric field. Fine. Now coming to the next one, um, moving on to the next point, that is about electrostatic potential. It is what it is at any point in an electric field. Okay, electrostatic potential at any point of time in an electric field means in an electric circuit or wherever the influence of electricity is being experienced. Okay, so there it is what it is the amount of work that can be done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to that point. So what is electrostatic potential? Electrostatic potential is the amount of work. Okay, it's a work that will be done to bring a unit positive charge from infinity, okay, to that particular point. Its unit is in volts. We measure potential in volt, and positive charges move from the higher to the lower potential. Okay, they move from higher to lower potential region. Electrons being negatively charged, they move from their lower potential to the higher potential region. Fine. So this is also one of the important concept you should understand. Then moving on to the next important point, that is potential difference. Okay, potential difference between any 2 points in an electric circuit, okay, or in an electric field. So the potential difference between any 2 points in an electric field, it is what? It is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from one point to another. Okay, so potential difference is work done per unit charge which is being carried. Fine. Now the next point is 1 volt difference. So when this potential difference will be 1 volt, when 1 joule of work is done to carry 1 coulomb of charge. Okay, so this formula or this equation which you are seeing here, this has to be put in words, and then you get your definition for 1 volt of potential difference. So potential difference between 2 points in an electric field is said to be 1 volt if 1 joule of work is done to bring a positive charge of 1 coulomb from one point to another. Fine. So you need to remember this. Potential difference is work done upon charge. If it is asked when the potential difference will be 1 volt, so what you have to do, it is, you already know, it is the work done to carry uh, per unit charge. Okay, carry one positive or a unit positive charge. So when it will be 1 volt, when the work done is also 1 joule, and when the charge carried is also 1 coulombs. Okay, so this you have to put it in words and your definition will be made. Okay, now galvanometer. What is galvanometer and where it is used? Okay, it is a device. Okay, galvanometer is a device. For what it is being used? It is used to detect the current in an electric circuit. Fine. Now what is ammeter? Ammeter is a device to measure what? Current in a circuit. It is always connected in series. Okay, in a circuit. Now coming to voltmeter. Voltmeter is what type of device? It is a device to measure potential difference. It is always connected in parallel to the component across which the potential difference is to be measured. Fine. So ammeter has to be connected in series in order to calculate what is the current flowing through the electric circuit, and voltmeter is measured between the 2 points. So it has to be connected parallel to those 2 points where the potential difference has to be measured. Okay. Now moving on to the next point, that is on Ohm's law. Now what is this Ohm's law? Yes, Ohm's law. This law states that the current passing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends, provided the physical condition like the temperature, density remain unchanged. That is, V is equal to IR. Okay, means volt V or the potential difference is directly proportional to I. And what is R? R is the proportionality constant, that is called as the resistance of the conductor. Now what is this resistance? It is a property of a conductor, okay, by virtue of which it opposes the flow of current. So what is resistance actually? It is the resistance, or we say opposing the flow of current. So whatever hindrance is there when the current is flowing, okay, that is measured in terms of resistance. It is equal to what? It is equal to the ratio of the potential difference applied across its ends flowing through the current. Okay, so what is resistance? So from this, if you remember this one, you need to remember only this: V is equal to IR, or potential difference is directly proportional to I. R is our proportionality constant. So if it is asked find out R, so R will be what? R will become equal V upon I. Okay, so remember this, then you can find out whichever value is unknown. Now coming to ohms. Now what is ohms? Ohms is, yes, so resistance we have to measure in some units. So the unit in which resistance is measured is called ohms. So what is ohms? Ohms is the SI unit in which resistance is measured. Okay, so in what condition ohms value will be 1 ohm? When there is potential difference of 1 volt created when the current of 1 ampere is flowing across its ends. Okay, you can read this statement: a conductor has a resistance of 1 ohm if a current of 1 ampere is flowing through it on applying a potential difference of 1 volt across its end. Or you can write, when a potential difference of 1 volt is created by there when 1 ampere of current is flowing through the circuit, okay, or between 2 points. Okay, now factors on which the resistance of a conductor will depend. Now on what all things the resistance is going to depend? There are certain factors which you should remember. There, one is the directly it is proportional to its length, means resistance will depend upon the length of the conductor. Okay, secondly, it is inversely proportional on its area of cross section. Inversely proportional means resistance will be more if the area is less. If the area is more, then the resistance will become less. Okay, next one is on the nature of the material. What type of material we are using for the conductor? Depending on the nature also, there will be no, resistance value will vary. There will be more resistance, there will be less resistance. Okay, now on combining the above three factors, okay, that is length, area and upon the nature of material, okay, what we will get, resistance is, we know, directly proportional to the length. More the length, more is the resistance, and it is inversely proportional to area. So this is how we can write, right, that R is directly proportional to the length, right, R is inversely proportional to area. Now when you have to combine, this is area, sorry, okay, when you combine these two, it becomes what, it becomes R is proportional to L upon A. Now make it capital A or small a, whatever you want to use. Then you need to introduce one proportionality constant. That proportionality constant is of resistivity. We denote it by letter or by symbol rho, okay, resistivity. This is for symbol for rho. So this is what you should remember. This is one of the important concept based on which many questions are asked to solve. What is resistivity? Yes, now you can define resistivity. What it will be? It is defined as the resistance offered by a cube of a material of side 1 meter when the current flows perpendicular to its opposite faces. The SI unit is ohms meter, okay, you can remember it. And resistivity is what, if you remember this, R is equal to rho L upon A, then you can find the value for rho also. So basically you have to remember this one, based on which other things can be calculated, okay. Unit for resistivity, you remember, it is ohms meter, fine. Because see how this ohms meter has come, that also let me tell you over here only, just a second. Okay, so just a second, fine. Okay, so resistivity, how this ohms meter has come, you know already that R is equal to rho L upon A. This is what I want you to all to remember. So if suppose you have to find rho, so rho will be equal to RA upon L. L will come into denominator, A will go to numerator, fine. You know what is the SI unit for resistance, okay, for resistance SI unit is ohms. For area it will be meter square. So and for length also it is meter. So this one and this one got cancelled, your answer will be ohms meter, okay. There is only one meter get cancelled, 1 meter remains, it becomes ohms meter. That is why the SI unit for resistivity is ohms meter, okay. Now moving on to the next thing, that is on equivalent resistance. Now what is this equivalent resistance? Equivalent resistance means if there is a single resistance, okay, if a single resistance can replace the combination of resistance in such a manner that the current in the circuit remains unchanged, so that then that single resistance is called as equivalent resistance, okay. So if a single resistance is replacing the combination of different resistance, then what we call that as a equivalent resistance, such that it remains as a single resistance, okay, without changing the current that is flowing through the circuit. So we call that as a equivalent resistance, fine. Now the next one, that is law of resistance in series, okay. So current through each resistance is same. This thing you should know, whenever the current is flowing through a circuit in series, okay, so there, these points you remember, that current will be same as it is connected in series, that same current is flowing through each of the resistance. Second point you remember, that the total voltage across the combination, okay, of the series resistance will be sum of the voltage drop, that is the total voltage will be V is equal to V1. Suppose there are 3 resistance, so it will be V1 plus V2 plus V3, okay, sum of all. Then the next point you should remember, that voltage drop across any resistor is proportional to its resistance, right. So it will be V1 is equal to IR1 and V2 will be equal to IR2 and V3 will be equal to IR3, okay, for at any resistor, okay. So for this is for individual resistors. Suppose 3 resistors are there, so like this you have to calculate. Fourth point is that equivalent resistance. Now what is this equivalent resistance? Sum of the individual resistance, okay. So total resistance will be, if there is all the resistance are there in the series connection, So what you have to do, the total resistance, that is equivalent resistance, will be sum of the individual ones. Okay, equivalent resistance will be larger than the largest individual resistance. Obviously, let any value be the maximum, when you are adding the other rest of the resistors, okay, resistance value for the other resistors, it is going to increase. So obviously the equivalent resistance will be more than the individual resistance, or the among the 3 or 4 or whatever number it is, the largest individual resistance. Okay, so I hope it is clear till here. Now moving on to the laws of resistance in parallel. Okay, now there are some points here in laws of resistance in parallel. Okay, so here it is, voltage across each resistance is same and is equal to applied voltage. Okay, it is same, voltage across each resistance is what? It is same. It is not the sum total, what we saw in the previous one. Just a second, I'll show you. Voltage here is what? The total voltage across the combination was sum of the individual voltage. What is same is the current. Okay, don't get confused here. So in series resistance, it is the current which is flowing through the circuit, it is the same across each resistor. Okay, but the voltage, the sum total of all the voltage, okay, will be equal to total of individual voltage. Fine, or the voltage drop will be equal to sum of the all the voltage, total voltage, when we are talking about. In case of parallel, okay, now in case of parallel, what is going to happen? One is about the voltage. Voltage is going to remain the same because it is a parallel connection between the 2 points. The voltage is going to remain same. Okay, and it will be equal to the applied voltage. Fine. Now the next point is about the current. What will happen to the current? Current is not going to remain same like it happened in case of series connection. Here the current will be, here the total current will be sum of the individual current. Fine, but individual current will be what? Individual current will be voltage divided by the resistance. Okay, through one resistor. Okay, wherever one resistance is there, so there the I1 will be V upon R1, means the current is getting distributed across the parallel connection. So I1, see, total I is I1 plus I2 plus I3, but what is I1? I1 is V upon R1, I2 is V upon R2, and I3 is V upon R3. Okay, so this is important, you remember this. Okay, next point you should know is the reciprocal of equivalent resistance. Now what is this equivalent resistance? You know, the sum total, sum of the reciprocal of individual resistance. Fine, so total here resistance will be the reciprocal, equivalent resistance will be reciprocal. In case of series, we are adding them, R1 plus R2 plus R3, like that, depending upon number of resistance, we are simply adding. Whereas here in case of parallel connection, it will be reciprocal. Fine, so it will become equivalent resistance will be 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 if there are only 3 resistance. Okay, the next point, last point, is on equivalent resistance. It will be less than the smallest individual resistance, obviously. Okay, when you add them, it will be, obviously it will come lesser than the equivalent some smallest individual resistance. Now moving on to the last almost the last, okay, few last concept related to this chapter, that is on heating effect of electric current. Okay, Joule's law of heating. So what is this Joule's law of heating? It states that the heat which is produced in a conductor, it is directly proportional to the square of the current, okay, that is passing through it, and it is proportional to its resistance, that is R, and the time for which the current is being passed. Okay, so this statement you can make if you remember this formula, that is H is what? H is for heat, so H is equal to I square RT. So heat that is produced when the current is flowing through a circuit is directly proportional, okay, it is directly proportional to the square of the current that is flowing through it. It is directly proportional to the resistance which is being produced. It is also directly proportional to the time. Just remember that here current is square. okay, I square. So H is equal to I square RT. And when the heat produced will be 1 joule, when you have to no, don't think in that terms, okay. So joules, it will be expressed in joules will be in I square RT. So heat is expressed, it is mathematically it is expressed as I square RT. Joules is the amount of heat which is being produced, okay. That is the unit in which it will be measured, fine. So this is something you should know. And how this equation has come, H is equal to VIT, that also I will tell you, just a second, okay. Okay, so it is like, you know, this H has come as equal to, H is equal to I square upon RT, means this H is 2 times I are there, right, followed by R and T, okay. So I think it's not that clear, I'll write again, okay. This formula you have to remember, H is equal to I square upon RT. Now in this there are 2 I's are there, right, and there is one R and there is one T, right. Now you know already that V is equal to IR. So can I replace this one I and one R by V? So if I replace, it will become I is equal to V, sorry, I is, I have written as it is, then this IR is being replaced as V and T is for time, okay. So this is how we have to do. So H is equal to I square RT, which is in which IR can be replaced by V, because we know V is equal to IR, so it becomes IVT or VIT, whatever way you can remember, you remember it, okay, fine. Now the next thing is about electric energy. What it is the total work done in maintaining an electric current in an electric circuit for a given time, and it is measured in joules, okay. So work done or the heat produced is one and the same only. Here we talk in terms of heat produced, or the work done is the amount of heat produced, okay, when this much work is being done. It is directly proportional to square of the current, also directly proportional to the resistance and the time, okay. Now moving on to the next thing, that is about electric power. How will you calculate the electric power? Now electric power is what? It is the rate, okay, remember, it is the rate at which the electric energy is being consumed by an appliance, fine. So it will be measured in which unit? It is measured in the units of watt, okay, WATT. Now let's see how we calculate the power. Power is the, as I said, power is what? Electric power is the rate at which electric energy is being consumed, means it is the rate at which the electric energy, that is work, is being done per unit time taken. So what is the work done? Work done is nothing but it is VI, okay. Just try to understand instead of going directly to this, understand from here. Power is actually the work done per unit time taken, fine, or it is the amount of electric energy or the rate at which the electric energy is being consumed. So when the electric energy is being consumed, it is the work that is being done, correct. So how we will find the formula for this? How the work done? Work done is nothing but it is the amount of heat which is being produced. So this work done can be here P, in place of W I can write that is the work done is amount of heat produced, so that is I square, okay, R T, fine. Now the per unit time taken, so divide by T. So here this T and T get cancelled, it becomes I square R, fine. Now we already know IR, we can take one I and we can take one R, and that can be replaced by letter V, right. So it becomes VI, okay. Here I can replace one of the I and this R by letter V, and one I remains from I square, so it becomes VI. So we can say P is equal to VI, correct. This is how we can say. Secondly, if we want to write in terms of V square upon R, so how that will come, okay. You know V is equal to IR, right. V is equal to IR. So I will be what equal to? I will be equal to V upon R. So V is equal to IR. In place of I will write V upon R. So it becomes V square divided by R. Okay. So this is how you can do the changes, okay, using your knowledge of different formulas. and you can get the equation. Fine. Now the next one, that is on okay, this I already told. Okay, this is the unit. What is the unit in which we measure power? Okay, and the power of an appliance will be 1 watt. When it will be 1 watt? If 1 ampere of the current is flowing through it on applying a potential difference of 1 volt across it. Okay, so when the power will be, when this value will be 1, when there is only 1 joule of work done in per second time. Okay, or if you want to write in terms of voltage and ampere, suppose we want to write in terms of potential difference and the current which is flowing through it. Okay, so we'll write 1 volt of current flowing through it when the potential difference across it is 1 volt. Okay, 1 ampere of current is flowing when potential difference is 1 volt. So like that you can make the relationship. Okay, this thing also you remember, that 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per second. Work done is measured in joules. Okay, energy or amount of heat released is measured in joules per second. Okay, and if we say P is equal to VI, then unit for voltage is volts and for I it is ampere. So here this is the unit written, and 1 kilowatt is 1000 watt. This also you should remember. Kilo is for 1000. Okay, and the last thing, that is kilowatt hour. What will be kilowatt hour? It is a, yes, kilowatt hour. What it is? Kilowatt hour is a unit of electrical energy. 1 kilowatt hour is the electric energy which is being consumed by an appliance of 1000 watt when it is used for 1 hour. Okay, so what is 1 kilowatt hour? So when we are saying 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt. Okay, kilo is for 1000, means it is 1000 watt. Okay, this much of power is being used in duration of 1 hour. Okay, so when 1 kilowatt hour is the electric energy, or this much power means 1000 watt of power or 1000 watt of electric energy which is consumed by any electrical appliances when it is working for 1 hour, and how much it is equal to 3.6 into 10 power 6 joules. This also you can remember. 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 power 6 joules. Okay, once again I'll tell you, it is kilo is for 1000, watt is the as a unit in which we measure power. So 1000 watt power. Okay, 1000 watt of power or energy is being consumed by an electrical appliance when it is working for 1 hour. We call that as 1 kilowatt hour, and this value in joules, it is equal to 3.6 into 10 power 6 joules. Okay, or you can remember that 3.6 into 10 power 6 joule is considered as 1 kilowatt hour. Thereafter there is one mind map. I'll just show it to you all. Here it is. You all can see and just go through it once again quickly and remember it. Okay, so what all things we have studied in this chapter? We studied about electrical energy, we also discussed about electrical power just now, we know about potential difference, yes, and then we know what is Ohm's law, we know what is resistance, how it has to be calculated, resistivity also we know. Okay, and resistance in series, resistance in parallel, and we also discussed about Joule's law. So with this our chapter is completed. In the next video we will do questions related to this, followed by some MCQs also. Okay, so thank you. Till then, keep studying, keep revising. Thank you.